I welcome you guys back into my next video, which is my course 204 on... I realise now I have to realise what course it is. I realise it's how to find wisdom. I realise it's how to wisdom, guys. I realise I have many courses in my day. Although you understand, I really failed over here. You understand that no matter what, here I am, I pick myself up again. And guess what? It's really that when you stuff up and you cannot recall something, you just make sure you go and look and you can recall it again. You have to understand that in order for you to find wisdom, you have to write it down each and every single day. You have to understand it's really about writing everything down. You have to understand when you're writing something down, you never forget. And that's why I wrote something down in my nice beautiful whiteboard over here. And that's why I have a whiteboard, so I can always remember what I have to talk about. You have to understand that you always write something down about your story or about a calendar or something in terms of life where you have a date or something where you need to go or something like that, and you write it in your calendar and it's going to notify you, and that way you'll never be a person who can never remember, because you're a person who gets notified about what you need to do every single day. So realize that a schedule is something that you need every single day. You need to realize that wisdom is about ideas and wisdom is about knowledge, and the more knowledge you have, the better your life. You have to understand, those people who have a better life are the ones who have better knowledge and skills required that they need, which is knowledge. You have to understand, knowledge is skills, and the more skills you have, I promise you, the more you work on yourself. So when you have more skills, you have more knowledge, and I promise you, when you have more knowledge, you're going to improve much more and more. You have to understand that knowledge is everything. And those people who have knowledge are the ones who are going to contribute more and more. And you realize that I have so much knowledge to give you because I read so much. I read so much about life, and I realize that each and every book I've read, I understand every single book now and how to grow. In a sense, so each and every book that I've ever read, I've read over 1,000 books in my life. You have to understand that all those books teach me how to grow. And I've learned how to grow, and here I am learning more and more every single day how to grow more and more. In a sense, so it's about more ideas and more content sharing in life. You have to share your life. You have to share your life with other people, and you have to better your life in the process. You have to understand that when you're sharing wisdom around, I promise you, you're never losing it. You're just gaining it in a different manner, and you're speaking upon your life in a better manner. You have to understand, to produce something in life, you have to work at it every single day. You have to practice and practice and practice. You have to understand that practice is key to become a better person. You have to practice all the time. You have to understand it's about being a better person in the process, and that way you're practicing to be a better person and a better person and a better person. Just like Novak Djokovic hits the tennis ball all the time to make sure that he can go and win 7 Australian Grand Slam Opens, you understand? So you have to hit the tennis ball so many times to do that. So you have to understand, you have to practice all the time to be always better and have a better swing, and make sure that you have a better tactic in order to hit a game points or a match set win, you understand? So realize that each and every time I win a game or something like that, or I hit a home run, it's because I do this all the time. I realize I do my 1 hour video, and once I do my 1 hour video, I hit the home run. In a sense, so realize each and every time I have to show up, and I also have to practice and practice and practice, because I give you more information, and I spin the mind, I spin the thoughts, and I make sure that I'm never stuck on thoughts, because I speak them. I express my thoughts, I express what I have. I realize that my thoughts are somebody else's thoughts. I realize that my thoughts are somebody else's thoughts. You have to understand that thoughts are just in the mind, and you have to express it more and more in order to become a newer fashion and ideal today, as Earl Nightingale says. You have to understand that in order for you to become a worthy ideal, you have to understand you have to expose those thoughts that you have every single day and put it into content, and put it into video, and put it into a book or quotes or journaling or something like that. I have 5 ways where I realize that I can go and do my content. I can do it in video, I can do it in audio, I can do it in a quote, I can do it in my journal, or I can write a book about it. You have to understand, you can go and write a caption, or inside a blog, you can go and write something down. You have to realize that there's only 3 ways to give content, and it's writing, audio, and video. You have to understand, that's where you're giving wisdom. You have to understand, what goes online is here forever. So realize that when you make a lot of content, you're also going to gain more wisdom in the process. You have to understand that since I've been here on the street for 8 days now, you'll understand that I have been talking for 24 hours, and because of that, I've learned something along the way about the crowd and how to be around the crowd much greater than yesterday, and how to really absorb the information and the attention, and it's each and every single day I'm getting better and better. And you have to understand that this, and being on the street, I realize that once you're doing it more than enough times, you can stand up in front of 10,000 people and speak easily, because you've done it more than enough times. So realize that when you're on the street, it's the same thing, because tens and thousands of people will see you. So be and get yourself a permit and go and sit in the middle somewhere where people are, and you just be the center of attention. And that way you understand you get more popular like that. And you're creating a hype around you, and you're creating momentum, and you're creating inspiration, and you're doing something for nothing. I realize I'm doing something here. I'm doing something. I'm giving something. You understand? So be that type of person. Realize that when you're not doing anything in life, you'll never be promoted. And you'll never be a person who is in the spotlight. I'm in the spotlight, so give me some credit over here. You have to understand, because I'm in the spotlight, I'm also more successful. You understand? Because when you get in the spotlight, you have the attention of the crowd. And when you have that, you have more wisdom. You have to understand, to be more successful, you have to do it in front of people. You have to understand, it's a slow process. You have to understand that slow and steady, I realize that slow and steady wins the race. You understand? Because the race is really better than yesterday. And when you're a person who's better than yesterday, you have the wisdom and skills to go and better other people. I went on Australia's Got Talent, and I realized that I went to audition only, and I realized I've done it online. And I realized I never went to some audition where they are, in terms of the judges. I realized that I just went online and I did a video and I started answering their questions. And I realized that I have a talent to public speak for the rest of my life. And I can go and give some content and live coaching. And I do it for free. I realized that when you need help, you just go into my Instagram, you click my bio link, and you go and download the Mega Drive app, and then you have all my content for free. And then I realized I've done over 300 hours of content. And then you just go and educate yourself. I mean, when you're a person who's reading my content, you can finish it in about 1 month. You understand? You can finish my videos in 1 month. You understand? If you're reading at 4 times speed. In a sense, to realize that 300 hours of content that I've done is 1 hour a day of reading, for example. You have to understand, you take yourself, or you invest 1 year of your life almost to even get through my content. So realize that you'll be a person who's reading faster than ever, and that way you'll finish my content in 1 month over 1 year. You realize that you go decades into days and you put it into a video, and each and every step of the way you understand that your blueprint is to be more wise in life. You have to be more wise. You have to do something that's wisdom. You have to be a wizardry type of person. You just give information. And that way you're a person who's really electrifying in your speaking and in what you're doing. You understand? Because you can intensify the crowd. And you can say, I have a dream. You understand? Because I have a dream means I have wisdom. You understand? So be a person who has wisdom every day. And that way you understand that wisdom is to be made simply by educating yourself more and more on how to get it. You understand? You get yourself more wisdom, you have more money, you have more health, you have more vibrancy, you have more richness because you have more wisdom. You have more wisdom because they're found in books. You're going to read more books, you have more wisdom. You understand? And then once you have more books in your mind, and you understand that the mind is now, you understand you never live in the mind, you live in the body. You understand that the body will empower you and will also make you better when you're also much healthier. Because when I was fat, I was very much likely a person who never had energy. You understand? So be a person who understands that when you're a person who is, or else when you're never joking around and you're serious about your work and you're doing growth, I promise you it's the best way. I promise you when you joke around growth, I promise you you'll never grow. I realize that you never joke around in life. You just joke around when you're growing in terms of life. You understand? So make sure you're growing with your joking. You understand? If you're not growing and you're just entertaining the crowd, I promise you're going to commit suicide. So never be that type of person who's entertaining the crowd, because the crowd is never worth entertaining. You understand? I promise you what's worth entertaining is growth. I promise you when you're entertaining the crowd, all you're really doing is just speaking and you're growing along the way. You're growing in a way that you understand that it's really about being a better person and doing something that's really foundational in your life to make sure that whatever you're doing is going to help you to grow. You have to understand, you be a person who understands that you just keep going, because you have to understand to make decisions, you make decisions with your emotions. You make everything come true for you every single day with your emotions. You understand? So when something is never answered in your life, you answer it with your emotions. Are you able to do it today? Are you able to realize that your emotions can do it? And that way you understand that whatever's going on is going to be inside, because inside will teach you everything. You have to understand that Jesus taught yourself and everybody on how to live inside, because you understand that Jesus never went outside for alcohol and anything in terms of scraps of pleasure, in terms of sex, and you have to understand or and. You never say or and, you just say or and. You understand? So Jesus never went outside for anything. You have to understand that you just be a person who's always communicating in a better way, and you understand that you'll be a better person for it, because that way you understand that or means now. You understand? So be a person who understands that each and every word that you ever speak in life is now. You understand? You're always relating everything to this moment. You're doing something right now. You have to understand that when I can really do something quickly and think quickly, I'm in the emotions to do so. You understand? So my emotions really speak louder than words. And you have to understand that when I think in emotions, because my emotions can detail my whole life and my whole story. And my whole story can be said and summed up in one word. I'm better than yesterday. In a sense, I'm always better than yesterday. I'm just one. I'm number one. I'm just a person. You have to understand that. One sentence is one word. In a sense, I mean, you're never limiting yourself to one word. You're just realizing that everything you've said in life is one word. Understand? I mean, the word is I. I mean, everything in life is summed up in I and you. In a sense, so realize that when you're looking in I and you always realize that the wisdom is in that. Or realize the wisdom is in I and you, and the question mark. You have to understand, you be that kind of person who's inspiring the crowd, you're inspiring the crowd in some type of way. You realize that the wisdom in you is to be found inside, and that way you understand you're more emotionally driven. And when you're emotionally driven, you're understanding that EQ skills is something that thinks faster than anything else. I promise you, I can already see what the people are thinking about me and saying about me when I just use my emotions. You understand? So it's just when you're using your blood flow. You're using your blood flow, I promise you that blood flow is talking with you all the time. So use your blood flow all the time. You understand? You're using the flexibility inside of you. I realize that when you're able to stretch, I realize you're feeling young. I realize when you can never stretch, you look like an old person, so make sure you can stretch all the time. You understand? So be that type of person who's always practicing stretching. You understand? You're stretching more, you're becoming more flexible over time, you're doing more yoga in daily life, you're doing something that's going to stretch you in a greater fashion and in greater success. I never need you to be old, I need you to be younger throughout time. I need you to understand that stretching is going to make you a gymnastic type of person, and that person can stretch, baby. I promise you that person can go and be successful because they can stretch all the way. You understand? I realize it's about stretching. You understand? So be a person who can stretch. I also have to practice more stretching. You understand? I have to do everything much more. I realize that when I have to do life, I do everything in life. I go and do everything that's much better. You understand? I experiment, although you have to understand, you never experiment with negativity. You have to understand that since I did experiment with negativity, I suffered so much. And here I am, a life coach, because I turned my life around. And here I am to inspire people to never go backwards or downhill. I never need you to understand suffering in life. I need you to understand Jesus' lifestyle. I need you to understand that Jesus never experimented with drugs. I never need you to experiment with drugs. You understand? I need you to understand you go and follow Jesus because there's no shame in having no drugs in life. In a sense, so realize you be a person who understands Jesus' lifestyle, and that way you understand to never do drugs because Jesus never did. You understand? So why are you following the crowd? I mean, let Jesus teach you that the sober way is the best. You understand? So you understand to never even experiment with drugs because Jesus never did experiment with drugs. You understand? So be that kind of person who understands that Jesus will never be found in a pub or a bar or a nightclub. You understand? I promise you that Jesus will never go there. I promise you what Jesus will do today is teach you the Bible and teach you all aspects of life, and it will be always public speaking somewhere. You understand? I promise you you have to go lead much more people. You have to go do something much more in order to become much more. And now we understand you have to be more, and to be more is to have more wisdom, and to have more wisdom is to understand knowledge. And when you understand knowledge, you understand this moment. You have to understand that knowledge is your emotions. And nothing can be described in this world. I promise you, each and every word I said over here is priceless. I promise you, you can never put a price tag on it. You have to understand, you can never describe what I've said over here. I don't even know what I said in this video. You have to understand, I know nothing in this life because I can never describe this life. I mean, the world is something beyond describing. You understand? So be a person who understands that it's never about labeling words and people and who people are in life. I promise you, when you label somebody and who somebody is, you've labelled yourself, and that means you've died. You understand? You never label people because that's called judgment. You never judge people because when you judge people, you're labelling people. You never label anything in life, and that's the way I realize that's the way in terms of life that where you'll never judge. I say hello. I realize no matter what, you never judge in a way that you understand that when you're a person who understands friction, you understand that you have no friction in life, and that way you'll be more flexible. You'll be a person who's never judging nor labelling anything. And that way you'll be more flexible and you'll be healthier and you'll be kinder because people who judge you because of what you're doing. I realized some guy, yesterday I was photo shooting myself and he says, put a dildo in your ass. I realized that's very rude, you understand? Because guess what? When I take photos of myself, I love myself, and the guys called me gay because I was taking photos of myself. Understand? I realize that is never the way to go either. You have to understand that when people judge you, I realize when people judge you as being gay because you're taking a selfie, I realize that person's got problems. You understand? So realize no matter what, do you understand that when people are doing photo shoots, I realize they're not gay or bisexual. I realize they may be. I don't know. I realize I never judge them for who they are. You understand? You never judge people for taking photos of themselves because it means they love themselves. So when they love themselves, they'll take a selfie, and that means they love themselves. So let them be in life. I mean, you accept them for how they are, and that way you understand that there's no judgment there. You'll be a person self-loving yourself, and self-love is called self-interest. You have to understand you need your I intent more. You need to I yourself all the time. I will never die. I understand that I will always live. You have to understand that wisdom comes in your I intent, which is inside. You look inside for it. You say I in every single word. I mean, each and every time I speak a sentence, I start with my I, or I start with the you. You must understand. I now must understand. Or else I now start with my I. Or else when you are a person, you would understand. You will understand that no matter what, that this starts with you. Understand? So be a person who understands the I and you factor, and start with your sentences with the I or the you. Understand? Or else that it's I or you all the time. Understand? And that way you understand, you always start your sentences with I and you, and you'll be more confident to speak in front of a crowd and also ask questions. I mean, ask the crowd a question. How do you guys feel today? Are you guys feeling good? What did you do today that's special? I mean, are you a special person today? Where are you going now, and how are you going to better your life? You have to understand that you just got to ask him great questions. You understand? I mean, a question is a great question. You understand? You'll be a person who understands that you just go and ask a question, because that way you understand a better way of life. You understand? You go and spark interest. You understand? You spark interest in the way you're asking questions. You understand? So be honest with yourself and ask yourself the best questions, and realize that any question is an interesting question. You understand? So realize that you just go and ask yourself better ones, because the better ones are going to lead you in a better place. I realize that when you're asking people where they're going, I realize that's just a movement of to say, where are you going so I can make a better decision. I realize that when you're going that way, I'll make sure I'll go somewhere better. You know, so realize you're doing something better in life. I realize you're always doing something better than the next person. You're always outsmarting people. You have to understand you outsmart yourself, and that way you'll be a better person for it. You understand? Because wisdom is to outsmart yourself and everybody. I realize that wisdom is to understand the smart ass and to stay away from the sarcastic people. You understand? So you're a person who's always never a pessimist, and making sure you're positive. You're making sure you understand the good and evil of life, and that way you understand what the middle ground is. You know, you understand to just be the good side of life, because Jesus is just the good side. And you should understand that those people who never believe in you never have to believe in you. You understand? I promise you, they never have to. And when they leave you, and when your family and your biological family and somebody destroys you in terms of life, where they just leave you and they leave you to die, I promise you, although you're going to grow, and that way you understand to leave the door open when they come back. You have to understand, if they come back. Understand? I promise you, if they never come back, you never have to see them again, and you never have to talk to them again, and that way it's a blessing for you, because they never loved you in the first place. You understand? Because they left you. I mean, family loves you forever, and family will understand that when you are a person who makes a mistake, you pick yourself up, and when they judge you based on one mistake, I promise you, when they judge you on that, I promise you, they never forgive you on that. I promise you, then they're never your family in the first place. I promise you, whatever they've given you in life never matters anymore. I promise you, you just gave that to yourself. I promise you, nobody made your life for you. You understand? So realize that when somebody gives you money, I realize it's you gave yourself money. You understand? I promise you, when you receive something, it's because you gave that to yourself. You understand? I realize that you deserve it. You understand? So what you have today is what you deserve, and what you have today is because of the knowledge that you have. You understand? So you are today based on some ideas that you have in life. So be a surplus in life, and make sure you get surplus ideas where it's going to help you. So you have to brainstorm every single day, and you have to do something constructive that's going to help you to move forward. And you understand that planning is one of them, and you understand that looking better is another. You understand that business mindset is another. You understand that entrepreneurship is another. You understand that ideas are another way. You understand that wisdom is another way. I promise you, another way is health. I promise you, another way is positivity and richness. I promise you, another way is clarity and discipline. I mean, go and dive in, and make sure that you go and dive into information, and just keep reading and reading and reading. I mean, today I'm just learning much more about how to become a better person, because I'm in front of people, and I'm making sure that I'm always alive and well in a better way. In a sense, so I'm never alive and well. I'm always alive and well in a better way. I realize that I just died, although you understand that I'm always making sure that I'm always better than yesterday. You have to understand, never be alive and well. It needs to be alive and better than well. In a sense, so be a person who understands you're always motivating yourself in a way. You understand that whatever happens, you always have your I and you there. I mean, as long as your I is in this world, I promise you it's still alive, and you still have a purpose to do something amazing. I realize that I can never die, because I must breathe much more life into myself to make sure that I breathe more, and that way go and learn how to breathe more, and go and learn how to do everything more. In a sense, so that way you understand you have to balance your lifestyle. You have to be a wisdom freak. You have to be a person who is speedy Gonzalez. You have to be very speedy in terms of wisdom. You have to learn it all quickly. In a sense, so be that type of person who's learning something quickly, and you understand that wisdom is to be made simply. You understand, you create your foundation, which is wisdom. I promise you, wisdom is more important than money. You have to understand that wisdom is something that comes along with the wisdom. You have to understand that wisdom is something in terms of life that creates money, and money is something that comes along with the wisdom, is what I say now. You have to understand that I am never supposed to say anything. I'm a person who just says it. I never should anything. I never could. I just do right now. I just do it. You understand? I'm a person who is a must-see. I'm a must-see person because I've got something to give. You understand? So, be that kind of person who is always doing something in terms of for nothing. You understand? So, when I started doing these videos, I started with Snapchat 1 minute videos, and then guess what? I now do 3 hour videos. I started from 1 minute videos, I started to do 3 hours of videos each and every day now. You have to understand, because I did 24 hours of videos in 8 days, you have to understand that's a lot of time. You have to understand, 1 day of talking in 8 days. You have to understand, you go do something like that, I promise you're going to better your life. I promise you that when you're a person who's always foundational in your wisdom, you teach it, you understand that your wisdom is love. And your love is the ideas that you're giving and the attitude that you're bringing to the table. And are you better than yesterday or not? Because I can see you. I can see are you better than yesterday or not. I promise you, when I look at people in the pub, I promise you I see people who are worse than yesterday. I promise you, when I see them in a pub or a bar and holding a drink, I promise you they're worse than yesterday. I don't care who you are. In a sense, so realize that you need to be a better person and stay away from the people and the beautiful women out there who are holding alcohol in their hands, because that's never beautiful for me in life. In a sense, you need to go do something so beautiful that's much better than alcohol, and never hold it in your hand, please. Realize that. You understand that please means now. You have to understand that you got to be a nice person and be a person who's nice all the time in terms of wisdom. You understand that attitude is gratitude, and attitude is this moment. I promise you, although that you have to understand that wisdom is a nice, beautiful subject, and it's also broad. I promise you, it's a broader subject that you can talk about. I promise you that you have to have broad subjects, and you have to realize that anything complex is very hard to and difficult to explain. So go and explain something that's very simple, and that way you understand that complex is simple, and you're going to be a more simple person. And that way you understand that each and every number is one. In a sense, so you simplify your numbers that way. You have to understand that when you look at numbers, you're just looking at where is the number one in life. Whereas the number one is going to get you in a better way. You have to understand that where is the freedom lifestyle? I promise you that's the best way to make your lifestyle come true. In a sense, so go where the freeway is, and you'll never be scammed, because those people ask, I promise you that those people will ask money in terms of life, so they get some money off you. I promise you that's never the way either. I promise you that Jesus will never ask money from you to give you some information. You understand? So realize that you go never charge people for anything. You understand? You just go and give. You're going to give it, and you shall be blessed for life. You understand? So be that person who's always giving. You're a given. You're always giving a surplus. You're giving something of high value. You're giving something of high interest. You're giving some value and love and attention all the time. You're never losing, because you're in your body. You're in your emotions. I'm rich or better. I realize that you're going to be flexible, because when I'm in my emotions, I realize that way I understand that I'm thinking fast, I'm thinking much better, and that way you understand that the thinking is in the doing. You understand? I'm always doing. I'm thinking in the moment. I'm thinking in my emotions, because my emotions speak louder than words. And what the emotions are is your EQ. And when you have higher EQ, you'll be taking more action. You have to understand that who you are today is a sum up of all that you've learned in life. So make sure you understand you're going to be a better person for it. You're doing something far greater. You're doing it for your video, it's something greater. You're never doing it for other people. Understand? And that way you understand you're doing it for something greater. You're looking inside of yourself. I realized today I woke up, I put on a state of trance. I realized I feel amazing. I feel all my favorite music and all my favorite tunes, and you're posting your favorite tunes all day. I promise you, it's a beautiful feeling when you're playing your favorite tunes all day. I realized that energetic feel, I love the energetic feel of music. I love the nice percussion. I love that techno vibe. I love the techno vibe because it just feels natural. I love that heartbeat going really quickly, because when you're really quick in life, you understand that it's really, make sure you're always fit and healthy and active. You're active to do something. I'm active to do these communication skills every day. In a sense, so I'm always communicating. I'm doing something better than yesterday. I'm making sure that I'm practicing to be the best life coach on the planet. In a sense, so I'm always the best in life. You understand? I'm always doing something the best of my ability. I realize that when somebody else is saying they're the best life coach on the planet, I say, I'm the best life coach on the planet. And say, I'm the best life coach. Understand? Because I have to be the best in order to beat the best. You understand? It's never to beat the best. I realize I have to be the best to be with the best. Understand? So be the best of the best all the time. I'm always the best of the best. I'm always the best of the best. You understand? Because I'm always practicing. I'm making sure no matter what, I'm never competing against other people. I'm only competing against myself in terms of making sure that I'm growing. I'm only growing. I'm never dying. I'm never doing it in a way to harm myself or anything. I had a girlfriend where she was slicing her hands in front of me. I realized that's not the way to go either. I realized that is a person delusional. I never need delusional people around me. I'm Richard Becker. You have to understand that you never go around people who slice themselves, because they may slice you too. Understand? I mean, when they're slicing themselves, I promise you they slice you too. Understand? You stay away from those people. I never need you around violent people. I never need you around people who boggle people and boggle their heads and who are causing violence all the way. Understand? So be a person who understands that it's never about violence, and violence will never cause you to grow. So realize that you go where the growth is, and you stay away from the negative aspects of life. You have to understand that you can just be a person who's understand that you just keep going, and that way you understand that no matter what, that you'll be a person who understands that you need to love yourself anyway. You love yourself in a way that you're going to grow, you're growing, and I understand that I realize that there is a lot going on around me, although you understand that it's really what's going on inside that matters. You have to understand it's what goes inside, and who are you becoming much better today. So you understand it's about becoming much better, and that way you understand it's the question of who are you becoming today to become a better person. Because all that you have in life is yourself, and you understand that yourself must be greatness. You must be greatness in life. You must be doing something amazing. You must be doing it for the greater good. And that way you understand you can become somebody of inspiration, and you can lead people when you practice more than enough. You have to understand that you've got nothing to fear in life. You've got nothing to fear. You have to understand it's a beautiful world. You have to understand you just tune out from the negativity, and you understand it's a beautiful world. You understand? Because those people who understand life are the ones going inside, and inside means emotions. I need you to live with your emotions all day long. I need you to realize that when you get upset or something before bed, I need you to realize you go into emotions, and I promise you if it's cold or something like that, I need you to realize you get warm. You put on your jumper, you put on your jacket, you sleep in your jacket then when it's so cold. You understand? I need you to sleep in your clothes. I need you to go and put 2 pants on when it's so cold. You understand? You go and make sure you get yourself a heater or something, and you have to understand you invest in yourself. You understand? I promise you when you go around hostels, you go and invest in a heater or something like that, you're going to plug in the heater, you have a nice beautiful heater inside of your accommodation, and that way you're getting every single day for the electricity or something like that. You'll realize that no matter what, it's really that you give more and more, and you'll realize that when you're a person who goes around hostels, you'll also realize that you'll have accommodation, you'll go in a 1-bedroom apartment, and that way you understand that 1 bedroom is better than 2 bedrooms, and twin bedrooms, and triple bedrooms. You understand? You go 1 bedroom, you have privacy, and nobody's going to walk in on you. Although when somebody walks in on you, you just realize you let them, and you say, would you like a cup of tea? Would you love to see me naked? You understand? Because you understand that they're exerting power and control of you, and when they're just walking into your bedroom like that, when you're doing something, and they're making you feel like a person who's far less than them, because they're saying, you need to give some rent. Did you give some rent today? You have to understand, I gave some rent. Would you love myself to help you with something? You understand? So be a smart ass and ask them a question, and that way you understand that you're going to be a better person for it. You understand? You just never be a negative person. You never be someone who's negative. You have to understand when it's something that you're doing inside, in terms of your room or something like that, make sure that you have a nice, clean and beautiful desk around you, and you understand that the desk, the space around you has to be clean and tidy, and that way you'll feel better. You'll feel better that you are taking responsibility more and more to look and feel better. I realize when you have clothes on the floor, and you have also food everywhere, and you have everything that's messy around you, you have a clogged mind. You understand? So just clean it for 1 minute. You understand? You're cleaning everything around you, and that way you're going to feel better for 5-6 hours or however long you're inside accommodation. You have to understand that when you say 2 o'clock, you'll be at street performance, you'll be there at 2 o'clock. You understand? You'll be there on time, because that way you understand that somebody else may take your spot, and that way you understand that you have an interest to make sure that nobody can take a spot, although you understand that somebody else may share the spot with you, and that way they'll say, at this certain time I'll be here, so make sure that you understand you be before me, or I can be after you, or whatever, and that way you understand that you go and have a compromise. And when you're compromising something, it's about wording, you understand? So you're always looking to evolve with people, you understand? So you're looking to communicate with people in a better way. And that way you understand the better way means learn from the communication that they're giving you, and then you understand that you just have to go your way. You ask them some questions about anything of value that may be driven to give you some value, and that way you understand you extract some value, and then you go. Understand? Because when you're giving value, you're just giving it freely. You have to understand that with my mentors, who are millionaires and billionaires, I send them some free content here and there, although you have to understand they have so much time in the day to even message me back. Although you understand that I only have so much time in the day now to even message them. You have to understand that is the attitude I brought off the table in terms of, I took the attitude and I said, I'll do the same as you guys then. You understand? So I realize that now, I realize it's really never chase other people. I realize you never chase other people, you're never chasing anybody in life. You realize that you're minding your own business, you're doing your own business, and when you're traveling the world, you go and see what you've never seen before. Understand? Because what you've never seen before, you have to unlock it. You have to realize that you have to be that somebody who is a keeper. You have to be a keeper. You have to realize to be a keeper, you have to be better this day. You have to be looking better. You have to be feeling better. You have to realize you go on the street, you fashion model anywhere in life, and let them call you gay. I mean, let them call you whatever when you're taking selfies of yourself and when you're a person who's looking better than yesterday. I realize they judge you for who you are because you're taking a photo of yourself. I realize they call you gay because you're taking a photo of yourself. I realize that is just you, that you understand that you're never gay or whatever, I don't know what you are. Or that you understand that you go be whatever you need to be. Understand? You just be your life and you're the sum of your thoughts. So make sure that your thoughts, you realize, are never your thoughts. You just realize that you go and have better thoughts. You're a person who's always vibrating in a better way. You're doing something better. You're doing something of interest. You're doing something that's going to help one another. Understand? You're doing everything in terms of one. You have to understand that you never get confused on numbers. And you should understand it's never about real estate and accumulating real estate and objections in terms of life. I need you to understand it's about being a better person. I need you to be a better person. I need you to realize I'm just doing something, man. I realize, mate, I'm just doing something over here, man. I'm doing something over here. I realize that's my poster, man. I realize I've got a painting over here. I've got a painting over here, mate. I've got something over here, man. I'll just go put the poster again over here. I deserve my poster to be here. I realize some guy took my poster over here. I realize he takes my poster and he puts it over here. You understand there's a lot of people who are negative over here. You have to understand, you used to be a person, you pick up your poster again, you just go do you, you go do you. You understand? Because you're a person who understands that the outside world can be so dangerous to see that they have to look at somebody else's face instead of you. And you have to understand that you just go and put your post up anyway around life because you deserve something better. I realize when somebody grabs your poster and puts it over here because they are jealous of you because you're doing something, I realize you just go put the poster where they're taking it off. I realize because when they come down next time, you're going to find the poster in the same place, and that way you're going to find them more violence, and that way we're going to put them in jail. You understand? Because when people touch your stuff, that you never gave them permission to touch your stuff, and they're grabbing your stuff and they're putting it elsewhere. I need you to understand you got to put your stuff where it was, and you understand that you have rights to be here, you have rights to go and do whatever you need to do in life that's positive, and when you're a positive person, you're not affected by the outside world and what they're doing. Understand? Because you gain some power here, you have to understand you become a person of high integrity, and then you understand what wisdom is. You understand you just go and do your life. Understand? Because no matter what happens, you're going to be a person who understands that whatever you guys have been watching for the past 24 hours, you understand that there have been people who have been negative around me. You understand that no matter what, you're going to continue anyway, because I have more power now. I have more power because there are stupid idiots around the planet, and guess what? You're going to be smarter than those people. You understand? Because it's never about violence. I need you to understand it's never about negativity. I need you to understand you're going to be a better person for it. You understand? You're going to be something better in life, and that way you understand you're going to do you each and every single day. You have to understand whatever happens outside of you is never important. I promise you that you never deserve to be hit, you never deserve to be violent. You understand? You be someone far greater than violence, and that way you understand wisdom. You understand that wisdom is never violence. And you should understand that what is amazing is that Jesus is never violent. I promise you understand that you're going to do more Jesus lifestyle, and that way you'll be positive only and you'll be good. You understand? Because the fountain of wisdom is Jesus, and you have to go and read Jesus lifestyle. Otherwise you're a person who has no wisdom in life. You understand? You're a person who's never interested then. You go and be a person who understands. You go and read about everybody, and you go and study people, and that way you understand that you need more intention. You need to grab people, and you have to understand that you need to lift them. You need to live all the time. You have to understand that what you're doing is positive. So you be someone far greater than who you are, and you understand that when people disrespect you, you have to understand you just lift them anyway, because that way you're the better man, you're the better woman. You understand? You're a better person. You have to understand, you go and sow yourself in a way that you understand that the wisdom is all you're giving in life. As Dr. Wayne Dyer said, you have to understand your attitude is your wisdom. And your wisdom is the ideas and the sum up of the ideas and books you've read and what you've accumulated in terms of knowledge. So be that type of person who understands that when you gain power, you would understand it's because of somebody negative around you who gave you the power to realize that you can go and do whatever you need to do. In a sense, so realize that you just be a positive person, and that way you understand that wisdom is to be lived in the moment. You go and do something really brilliant. You go and do something that's really special in your life, and you have a special heart, so make sure you make your life special all the time because you deserve it. You deserve to realize that you need to lift yourself in a way that you understand. It's really about encouragement, and it's really about empathy, and it's really about leadership, and it's really about reading more books and learning quicker and making sure you're speed reading and making sure that you have a better mindset in the process, because a business mindset that can always lift you is the one that's worth it. So go where the worthy people are. You understand? Because that way you'll public speak better and you'll do better, and you understand that you're going to communicate better. Because when you have more power, you'll understand that you're communicating more and you're doing something better to make people jealous. And when they're jealous, they're going to touch your speaker because of how it looks. You understand? Because they're stupid idiots. So I promise you they're drug addicts. You understand? Because those people have nothing of value in this world. You have to understand, you go and do something much greater. You understand? You never ever touch people's possessions because it's never yours. I realize when you're getting into other people's possessions, I realize you're a junkie, you're a person who's a drug addict. I never need you to touch people's stuff in life. You just go and mind your business. You understand? You go and focus on yourself rather than other people, because those people who are minding your business and touching your stuff are the ones who are also violent. So never be violent and never be that type of person. And you should understand, you go and be somebody who's really never devastated. I never need you to be devastated. I never need you to realize I need you to realize more, although you understand I'm not sick, I'm a person who's richer all the time, always richer all the time, and that way you understand that when you're a person who coughs or something like that, you have to understand, you say I'm rich or better, and that way you'll never be sick. You have to understand, you make sure that each and every time you're unlocking yourself in a better way, you're doing something much better than yesterday, and that way you understand that it's about scheduling yourself in a better way. You have to schedule yourself, you have to realize that you have to talk more, you have to connect more, you have to be more, you have to do more, you have to have more. In a sense, so to have more, you have to work at it each and every single day. You have to work at something that you're doing. You need more power, you do something that's really worth it, you do something that's really going to help you move forward. And that way you understand leadership, you understand something of assertiveness, which is leadership. In a sense, so people who have confidence also have assertiveness. You have to understand this. Assertiveness means confidence. So be a person who's happier, and that way you'll have assertiveness and you also have confidence and you'll have consistency to make sure that you can go and grab and lift people. You understand? You have to understand, you only lift and you never delift. You never be a person who's a deadbeat. You be a person who's uplifting. And that way you understand that lifting people is a tendency to grab you and catapult, or let's say it's about catapulting yourself upstairs. And that way you understand that you go upstairs all the time, you get the elevator rather than walking 40 steps up. You understand? You get the elevator up. You understand? You be smarter. You be a person who's smarter. You're doing something smarter. You're running towards your dream. You understand? You're running there and you're catapulting yourself in a way that you understand you be the best version of yourself. You understand? Because that's wisdom. I promise you, wisdom is waking up every day saying, I look better than yesterday. You understand? I mean, it's in your looks. I mean, it's in your muscles. I mean, it's in your hairstyle. I mean, it's in everything that you do. You have to understand, your ashes, which is much better than yesterday, must be something of greater intent. You must always be able to lift yourself, and you must be able to realize that you're much more than dust. You have to realize you're much more than what everything is in life. You're much more than this life itself. You understand? So be that person who's always lifting yourself. You always gain power in a way when somebody is annoying you, you'll never be annoyed. You never get angry at other people because they mess around with you. You understand? Because you're much better than that. You're never going to mess around with people. You're going to grow them because you're never fooling around. You're really growing and you're making sure that you're lifting and catapulting yourself up in life. You understand? You're a person who's always up. You're upbeat. You're making sure that you're uplifting. You're making sure that you're always a person who's doing better. You understand? So be that kind of person who understands wisdom. And wisdom is to realize that you understand ideas and you're making up your own meanings throughout life. You're doing something that's really motivational and that's going to grow you, and something that's really going to make you go inside. And you're never lost in other people. You're never saying that anything in terms of other people and that you have to look at other people more than yourself, and you're never that type of person, because when you look at other people more than yourself, you'll be a junkie, you'll be a drug addict like that. You understand? So make sure you're looking at yourself more. And I always love myself more than anybody, because when I see myself, I see family. I see family with myself, because family is one person. You understand? I promise you that we're more than one person. I promise you we're divine beings. I promise you that there's only one essence in life, and that we all came from that essence. You understand? So realize that spirituality is us, and we are something bigger. In a sense, to realize we have to believe in something bigger. You have to understand that we have big dreams. You go big in life. You understand? You go and have something massive in life, and you take big action. You don't take small action, you take big action. You understand? I mean, I realize you take small action, and it's going to accumulate a big action. You understand? So realize that the common good of life is the yin yang, and you have to understand, you have to learn both sides. You have to learn synonyms, you have to learn vocabulary, you have to learn about information all the time, because information is going to enable you to understand more love and unconditional love, and then you give it more and more, and then you become a wholehearted person through soul-to-soul communication, as one author said, and you understand that it's all about being in emotions and giving more of your ideas. And then once you're giving more ideas, you're understanding people with feeling, you're understanding people with emotion, and that way you understand that there's nothing to fear because you're much more better than life. You understand? You're much more better than this life. I mean, there's nothing to lose in this life. You just go in the spotlight, you demand it. I'm rich or better. You have to understand that when you have a spotlight, you have a decision. I mean, you can go and find it on the street. I realize you go and do what I'm doing today. You understand, you emulate what I'm doing, which is public speaking and speaking about life in a better way, and you're making sure that you're always better than yesterday, because if you're not emulating a better way, I promise you, then you will be nothing. You understand? So emulate what I do in a way that you do it in your own way. You understand that my motivation is on the street. I do it on the street, and guess what? I'm always better. I'm always doing something according to what's better in my life. I'm making sure I'm always doing something that's going to help me to move forward. I make sure I'm doing something that's really foundational and that's going to make me kinder throughout life. I realize that I have to be nicer. I have to do something that's far greater than I am. I realize that I have to be everything in life. I have to make sure that I'm always looking inside for all the wisdom that I have, and I'm giving it forward. I'm making sure that I'm helping people to find their way in a better way. You understand? So that's what a leader does, and you have to understand it's about leadership. You have to understand it's about becoming something more in life, and the more you can become, the better you are. You have to understand you become a whole heart, and you realize that when something of an entity is with you, you feel it. You feel around you this nice, beautiful vibe, and then you understand you're going to lift from that. You're going to lift because you have some support from something above you. You have to understand there's something above you in life, and you have to realize you have to become that something above you in life. You have to realize you have to leave some room for improvement. You have to understand you have to do something greater today than everybody else. You understand? You have to stand out in life. You have to do something, and you have to realize your name is going to stand out, and your face and how you look like is standing out today. So do something really incredible today, because only you can do that. In a sense, so realize no matter what, that you're going to do something that nobody else has ever done. I promise you, nobody else has ever done Danny Milivojevic. I promise you, only I've done myself, and guess what? Because I'm doing myself every single day in a different way, I realize I'm unique, baby. In a sense, so you have to also become unique all the time. You have to do something that's power. You have to realize you have to give people power in a way that you're giving them information. You're giving them more of what you are. Understand? And what you are is wisdom. And when you have more wisdom, you're giving more of it and more of it and more of it, because you'll find that one little spectrum of wisdom will create everything. In a sense, so realize that you have one spectrum of wisdom right now that can do everything. You just have to find it, you have to grasp it, and it's within you right now because you're still living. Understand? So what you have to do is go write it down. You write your wisdom down, and you start the process of business. And the business of your life is just be better than yesterday and look better than you are today. You understand? I never need you to turn fat. I never need you to turn uglier in life. I need you to turn more beautiful. And the best way is to make sure that you're doing everything in the best way possible. You understand? You're doing something today that's going to work. You're doing something today that's really going to help you to get more information across to other people. And that way you understand why I do this. You understand? I do this for something greater than I. Because something in me says that I must help you. You understand? I must grow you. I must realize that I'm an inspiration. I'm always inspiring myself every day. I wake up in the morning. I'm half servant and half creation, and I never want to kill myself. Understand? I wake up in the morning and I'm always living myself a much better life, because every single day I'm always dreaming a much better dream. Understand? I realize that each and every day, you understand that just recently I dreamt that I cheated myself. You understand? I dreamt it. I realized that I was cheating myself in my dream. I realized that I woke up in the morning, I had a slow start, and then after 20 minutes, I started to pick up. I started to really get energetic, because guess what? That's the whole point of life. Whereas when you need a cigarette when you grow up in life, you have to understand you're losing in life. You never grow up with a cigarette in your mouth. You understand? You never grow up with alcohol in your mouth, because that's going to kill you. You understand? I promise you, when you look at drugs and you look at people who died from drugs, you look at Avicii, you'll understand that person died at 28. You understand? Because guess what? He was a mega pop star, and guess what? He died at 28. I'll say Avicii died at 28. You understand? So stay away from the drugs, kids. You understand? Because that's going to kill you. You understand? So go and learn from Avicii standpoint. You understand? You never ever do drugs. You understand? You never do drugs and never die at 28 like Avicii did. You understand? So make sure you're growing up in life. I need you to stand up now. I need you to realize that it's never about drugs. I need you to understand you go and use everything that you have and your power to realize that when you have talent, you go and give it, and you appreciate your talent, and you make sure you grow it each and every day, because otherwise nobody else is going to grow your talent. And saying you have to do something far more foundational. You have to do something that's worth it. I'm more powerful today than I've ever been, because I get to stand up in front of a crowd and I get to do it every single day. And saying I get to do something of interest that I love to do for free. I never need money in life. I never need money in life. I do it for free. And saying I do everything for free. I don't care about the money. I realize that people are going to look at you and they're going to say, how much money do you have? And you're going to say $1,000 bucks. I realize that person's going to look. I realize that person is going to make you feel like crap because you have $1,000 bucks. I realize you say, I'm better than yesterday. I'm better than yesterday. How about you? Are you better than yesterday? Because that's all the money in the world. You understand? I realize that no amount of money is going to lower my confidence. You understand? Because my confidence is my ability to grow. You understand? It's about growth. You understand? It's about something bigger than money. You understand? Because most people have $1 trillion and $1 billion and $1 million. And they're going to say, how much money do you have? You're going to say 20 bucks. Well, that makes you look cheap. You have to understand. You say, I'm better than yesterday. You understand? That's all the money in the world. You understand? That's all the money in the world. You be that kind of person who understands something greater than you. You understand? Because you have to ignite the fire within you, as Tony Robbins says. And to do that, you have to speak more. You have to do more. You have to be more. You understand? You have to give some more content. I realize I quote every single time I post a photo into my Instagram. I post 60 photos of myself each and every day of my life now. I mean, each and every day I post 60 photos of myself inside my Instagram. You understand? You'll understand when you go on my Instagram, you'll find photos of myself. Because guess what? I love to look at myself. You understand? I love to understand that when I go to Brisbane or when I go anywhere in life, I take a photo somewhere there and I say, that was me. You understand? Because I love myself. You understand? So be that person who understands that love of yourself is going to get you further than anything ever will. I promise you, nobody's going to give the love that you need except you. You understand? So be that person who loves yourself more. You understand what wisdom is. You understand that love comes from inside. You understand that love never comes from other people. I promise you that this is what looks like when you're asking for people to love you. You go, Dada, you able to love me today? You sound stupid. You understand? When you ask that question, you never ask people to love you. You say, Dad, what do you need today? You're giving them love. You understand? You never go, Dada, you have to give me some love today. What are you doing in life? You never ask people for love. You never ask your wife for love. You understand? You go up to her and you ask, are you able to give me some love today? I realize that's stupid. You understand? I realize you look like an idiot. You understand? So be a person who understands that you go and give people love. You understand? You just give it freely and you shall be stronger from it. You understand? You be a stronger person by giving more. You're a person who must give. You must give something. You must be giving yourself and give your whole heart. You understand? You have to understand that when you're a person lifting yourself, you're lifting your heart, you're lifting yourself, you're lifting other people, you give them all the information you have and you go and learn. I mean, when you don't know something, you go and learn something. I don't know anything. I just go and learn more and more about everything. I don't know anything about my life. I have to learn more about it. You understand? Because when I know something, I never learn from that. I never learn from anything I know. I know nothing, and that's why I learn. I learn and learn all the time. I have to learn this video still. I still have to learn what I've said. I have to learn what I've completed. I have to learn what I've finished in life. Because I'm always a work in progress. I'm always doing something that's going to help me. I'm always doing something that's far interesting than anybody else. Because I'm far interesting than everybody else. I'm living my own life. In a sense, you have to be far interesting than everybody else too. Because life is not a competition. I'm not in a competition with you. You have to understand, when I speak the best about myself, I realize that I'm the best in the world. I realize I'm the best in the world. You understand? So make sure that you're never offended about that. You just go call yourself the best in the world. You understand where I'm coming from. You understand? I'm always the best in the world. You be the best in the world too. You understand? So realize that I'm doing something for the best of interest in terms of my life so I can grow. You understand? So you be a person who's growing. You be a person who can always accumulate much more knowledge. You understand? It's about knowledge. You have to be a knowledge freak. Whereas one of my websites was called www.knowledgefreak.com. You understand? And guess what? I failed the website. You understand? I realized that my website is still going though. I realized that my wisdom is still here. You understand? So guess what? I never failed, although you understand the website failed, which was that www.knowledgefreak.com. You understand? So realize no matter what, I'm still here. I realized that when you fail and you think you failed, are you still living though? You still never failed. You understand? You never failed anything. You understand? You're just a person who needs to grow more. You need to learn more. You need to do more. I promise you, the more you learn, the more passionate you are. I promise you, the more you learn, the more love you have. I promise you, the more you learn, the more you're giving in life. You have to give, you have to contribute. As Russell Brunson says. You have to understand that he said at a certain point when I was reading his book, I realized I was reading his book, and I realized he says, you must contribute to a certain... I realized he says, you must contribute to a certain point in your life. I realized when you're reading so much material of information, I realized eventually you're going to have to contribute, and you're going to have to start teaching the knowledge that you're doing in life. Because that's the next road. I realize the first road is read it. I realize you have to read, and you have to read, and you have to read, and then you have to pour all that information out and start living it. In a sense, so realize that what you read is what you are today. In a sense, so what your diet is today is who you are. In a sense, so what your diet is the wisdom that you have today. So realize that you need better wisdom. In a sense, you need more wisdom to understand that it's really the wisdom that's good. And you have to have the good information. I promise you, many people will lie to you and will say anything to make you go astray. And you should understand, you just go the better way. I'm coaching you how to be a growth coach yourself. You have to understand that I'm a life coach. I teach you how to be in life much better than yesterday. I teach you how to do everything much more skillfully. Understand? Because what I do is something far greater than I am. Because how long am I going to live life? You have to understand that this video is going to live for eternity in this life. So guess what? I'm always here for eternity. Understand? I'm always here coaching you guys. In a sense, so realize that 200 years from now, and 500 years from now, and 1,000 years from now, and 50,000 years from now, you guys will be watching me anyway. In a sense, because MP2 and MP3 is always around. So guess what? You guys are going to be watching me for 1 million years from now. In a sense, so be that type of person who understands you're just never regretting anything. You're being a better person for it. You understand that giving is a way of life. You have to understand that the more you give, I promise you, the more you'll gain in life. You have to understand it's really that you're gaining more through giving. And you understand when you're giving information, you're growing in a different way all the time. That's called wisdom. Wisdom is called let's grow together. You understand? So make sure that you're connecting all the time. You're never treating anybody with disrespect. You're never just doing it for the pleasure. You understand? I promise you it's never about the pleasure. I promise you it's about respect and delayed gratification. I promise you it's about discipline. And those people who can discipline themselves will never become sex addicts. I promise you they'll never become drug addicts. I promise you they will never look at entertainment for pleasure. I promise you it's never about pleasure. I need to understand it's about growth. I need to understand it's about doing more in terms of something greater. And you're never doing it for the world. You're never doing worldly matters. You're doing something much more than that. You're doing something on the spiritual realm. You have to understand that the spiritual realm means your emotions. You're working on your emotions. And your emotions rule the world. You have to understand emotions are far greater than everything else. You have to understand that you must realize that you are something above who you are. You understand? So realize that you say, I'm above who I am today. I have to grow myself every single day. I have to make sure I'm positive today. I have to make sure that each and every day I complete 3 hours of video content on the street. Because that way I understand that each and every time I can accomplish 3 hours of content, I am much better. You understand? I used to struggle so much to even do 3 hours of content or video every single day. And now when I do it in front of people, I'm just slamming it. I'm slamming it. I'm slam dunking every single video that I do, because guess what? I'm doing it in front of people now. I realize that I get excited. I get too excited in front of people, and guess what? That's the whole point. I realize that the more excited you get, I realize the happier you get. I realize that excitement is never anxious abilities. I realize that being excited is never anxiety. I realize that what's anxiety is delusion, and it's also making sure that you understand that anxiety is being unhealthy, and it's really schizophrenia that is anxiety. I promise you, anybody who has anxiety has schizophrenia. In a sense, to realize that I was a person who had a lot of anxiety. In a sense, I had a lot of mind material, and my thoughts were never my thoughts, and you understand that the thoughts in my head were too much. I was overthinking everything, and that's why I was so much schizophrenic. In a sense, so what did the medication do? I promise you, the medication is a way to slow the thoughts down in your head. In a sense, so the way to do that is never through medication. You're never putting medication into people to slow their thoughts down. I promise you, all you're really doing is you're getting your thoughts, which are never your thoughts, although you're just writing a story. I promise you, that's how simple it is to overcome schizophrenia and anything in life that's mental health disorders. Understand? I promise you, when you have bipolar disorder or cancer or anything, you can overcome it through words. Understand? I promise you, the better your words, the better your life. You understand? You go and overcome schizophrenia by writing your story down, and you write better and better and better, and you communicate more and more. You understand? The only way that I communicate more is to realize that I can do it much better than yesterday. You have to understand, I'm always growing, I'm always making sure that in order for me to overcome my challenges, I have to communicate better, and I have to do it faster than anybody else. I realize I just have to be myself in front of people. I have to realize that to be myself, I have to realize I have to do something different, and I have to look different, I have to be my own type of person. Who is my brand? I'm branding myself all the time. Understand? So realize that your brand is your company. I mean, a brand is also Adidas and Nike. Although when you show your face, I promise you that's more than Adidas and Nike. I never need you to be Adidas and Nike. I need you to realize that it's never a competition about who's going to sell more possessions in life, because you can see Amazon, for example, and they're selling all these possessions, and I realize there are people who are calling Amazon people that they're so successful because they're providing a service. I promise you that the service is never selling possessions. You're never selling possessions. You're selling yourself for free. You're selling yourself. You're never selling possessions, because to sell possessions is to miss the mark. I promise you that it's really that you sell yourself in your face and what you've got in your heart. You're giving that more and more. I promise you that's the best selling point in life. I promise you it's never about who's going to sell the car more. I don't care about the car. I care about my voice. I care about my face. I care about how I look today. I care about my schedule today. I care about my time today. How much time freedom do I have today? Whereas I care about that. I don't care about anything else in life. I care about something greater. I care about something greater more than myself. So be that type of person who's always communicating something in life, and you'll realize that you can do something far more than everybody else. So you have to understand that it's really about accumulate all the knowledge you can, and that way you'll be better. I realize it's that easy. I realize although you have to go and read, you have to go and study, you have to do it yourself. You understand that you have to be your own teacher, and you have to teach yourself everything. You understand? So each and every time you put yourself out there in terms of just putting yourself inside, and you're living in emotions, and you're doing something with your emotions every day, I realize you can do some Tai Chi. I said, oh, you can do some Kung Fu, you can do something, you can do whatever you need, although you just be funny about it, and you're really growing from it. You can do something that's really going to help you. You can do something that's really Bruce Lee in terms of life, and you understand you have to grow. You have to grow. It's really about growing, and it's never about fighting other people, and it's never about causing violence and breaking legs. I realize that's not the competition. I realize they're calling the person 10-time champion because he broke legs. I don't care about that. I don't care. I realize that guy's a 10-time breaking leg guy. You understand? I realize he's breaking people's legs. I don't care about the guy. I realize what I care about is helping people to grow. You understand? So realize that the best job in the world is to realize that you're growing, and to be better than yesterday is the best job and the best business, and to brand yourself is the best business of the world. I realize that Gary Vaynerchuk is one of my mentors who's doing it far more than anybody now. I realize that you realize I'm doing it far more than everybody now in terms of branding, although you understand that Gary Vaynerchuk, in terms of my mentors, in terms of other people, are branding themselves, although Gary Vaynerchuk is talking about branding typically. And so just understand that I'm a person who's branding myself more than anybody now in the best fashion. Whereas the best fashion statement is to understand you're going to take some photo shoots of yourself, in terms of you're investing in photos of yourself, and you're investing in photo shoots only. You're never taking anything. You have to realize that to take something is to steal it, and to be taking something is to be taking action. So you're taking photos of yourself, you can say, and you can understand you're taking photo shoots, so you can understand that. You understand that taking with the ing is a doing word, so you can say taking, although you never take alone. Because the word T-A-K-E is take, and you never take. Because to take something is to rob someone of something. You never rob people of anything. You just give them. You're never taking anything. And so you're giving more and more of your heart and soul to make sure you can do your passion more and more, and that way you understand more wisdom. Because the wisdom is in how much are you coaching today. I realize it's nice people are winning championships in wrestling and also in tennis and sports. I realize that's nice. Although you understand that what are they teaching you from that? I realize that Cristiano Ronaldo is a goal scorer. I promise you the guy can score goals. I need to ask, what is he teaching you though? I don't know what he's teaching you though. I mean, where is his education? I mean, what's Cristiano Ronaldo teaching you today in terms of how he's shooting those goals? I need you to understand it's about teaching how you're shooting those goals and never just scoring them. And saying, I'm teaching you how to live. And so I'm teaching you how to live life because I live much better than yesterday. And if you don't get inspired by me because I'm better than yesterday, then you'll never ever be inspired. And so you have to be around people who are peak performers. I'm a peak performer because I look better and I feel better and I'm better than yesterday in all areas of my life. I'm better than yesterday all the time. I'm always doing better. And so I'm always doing better because I focus on my ideas. And my ideas are something that I give. I'm focused on the giving of life. I'm focused on giving you more and more. And that way, it's never about the outside materials. You have to understand, my biological dad has so much materials in terms of speakers and TVs and radios, and he has cups and plates. And you have to understand, the more materials you have in terms of the outside world, the more stuck you are in one place. I realize that all I have in terms of my suitcase is what's here. You have to understand, my suitcase is what's on me, and that's it. I realize that's all I ever need. You just give me a microphone, please. I realize that when I give myself a microphone, that's it. I just have more than enough. You understand? I realize that I never ask people to give me anything. You have to understand, it's really that I go give myself all that I need. You understand? I realize I'm never asking people to give me anything. I'm just going giving it to myself. You understand? You're going to make it for yourself. You understand? You never ask people to have an opportunity to speak and public speak. You just go where the attention is. You go and sit in the middle, and that's it. You go be on the street and you sit in the middle of the attention, and you just go do your work. You understand? I promise you that's what you need. Understand? Because Tony Robbins, in his first seminar, I promise you that guy had 7 people and he gave $10,000 for it. Understand? Understand? I gave nothing to be here, and guess what? I give content to be here, although you understand that I gave no money to be here. Or else it's for free. I get tens of thousands of people to watch me every day. Understand? So you have to understand, when you're creating 3-hour seminars every single day, I promise you eventually you can do 8 hours every single day for free. You do it for free. I mean, you show up in the same place every day, you say 8-hour seminars every single day. I mean, you're going to inspire, you're going to grow, you're going to lift, you understand? And then you're going to make a name for yourself. Understand? That's called wisdom. I mean, make sure you understand that it's 10% skill, 9% luck, and how's it go? Or else it's 90% luck and 10% skill. You have to understand, you go be that concentrated power of will, because it's 5% nothing of pleasure. You have to say it's never about pleasure. You have to understand, you just got to be a person who understands that when you're rhyming other people's words, you go and do it better. You understand? You never copy people's words. You go and do something much better. You understand? Because sometimes the lyrics that you love is very damaging. You understand that people in Serbia, for example, I promise you they say a little bit of whiskey, a little bit of Coca-Cola. Or else they're singing those stupid songs. Or else they're singing like a little bit of whiskey and a little bit of Coca-Cola, and I have a good woman around me. I realize that they're promoting a nightclub vibe, you understand? So it's never about that, guys. I realize that when you're singing a little bit of whiskey and a little bit of Coca-Cola, you understand you'll become a little bit of whiskey and you'll become a little bit of Coca-Cola, you understand? Because what's that going to give you? I mean, what's that going to teach you? I don't know. Because that's the song you're singing, you understand? So never sing a little bit of Coca-Cola and a little bit of whiskey. I realize that you'll become a person who's a drug addict, you understand? So never be singing drug addict music, you understand? You never need that in your life. I need you to understand that what you need is something better than nightclubs and better than everything in life. And the word will get you there. I promise you, your word is who you are today. So realize that you go and boost your vocabulary today, and that way you understand wisdom. I promise you that this nice subject here is done for, although you understand that I have another subject to go. Although you understand you guys be better today, and you go promote yourselves and this video in a better way today. Alright guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.